Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I had a. This is actually Wednesday, March 30th, and if you were looking for a chart lesson for the 29th, you probably hadn't found one up until now. And the reason was I had a little minor emergency, nothing serious, but I had to leave yesterday, and I just didn't get a chance to do one, unfortunately. So since I still had all this on my chart, I didn't even get a chance to close my charts down overnight. So my charts were still here, and um, all my lines and channels are still on my chart. So I thought I would just go ahead and show it to you and put this up so there's something, so you had something to compare your chart to. I'm not going to go through all the trades. I'm going to get back and try to take a couple more trades today. Um, but I wanted to put this up while I had a little break here, waiting on I'm actually sitting here waiting on the crude oil news that comes out at 9:30. That has really affected the market lately. And if you're watching this after the fact, which you will be because it won't be up before that news comes out, it may or may not affect it today. But you can see on the chart how everything's gone flat the last hour, and my only guess is that's why, as people are being a little cautious going into that news item. The rally still continued, but really since about, I would say since about 9 o'clock my time, and it's 9:30. So for the last 30 minutes or so, the market has just gone completely flat. And the only thing I can guess is it has something to do with this news item. So personally, I'm a little bit hesitant to be in the market before that comes out, because it has affected us, has affected prices relatively strongly lately. So I'm guessing that's what's going on. But so anyway, while I'm taking a little break, wait on that news to come out, the market settle back down. I did want to show you my chart. We started off with a two-tiered channel working lower. We had a break here, and notice how prices tried to go lower one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 different times. Let me make it a little bit bigger, maybe. And they just couldn't get there. And once a market tries to go lower so many times and can't, eventually it's going to go the other direction. Uh, so we never could get in a new low. I really thought we'd probably end up with a range day, but we just kept going higher. So the market's the market's slowly coming back again. The selling is subsiding, and now there's buying coming back in. I mean, just a couple of days ago, we were struggling to get above 2,000, and now we're on the way to 2,100. So it looks that way anyway. So those century marks are generally very emotional areas where we may go. It takes a while to work through them. You may work above and below them all over and over for sometimes weeks before you continue to push on, but they are very emotional, important areas. So just be aware of that. But you can see we had the two-tiered channel working down. We had the break, and we just never could go lower. I mean, this 2024 area. Let me see what the low is right there. 2023.50. So really, that 2024 area, 2023, there was strong support there, and we finally broke out, and man, it was off to the races. And you can see this was a huge rally. So you could have caught a runner on, you wouldn't want to enter, you wouldn't have wanted to enter this first entry, but when this turned down and turned back up and went higher, that would have been a great entry. Uh, and if you caught that one entry, you could have ridden this all the way into the close. I mean, that is a great move there. And there's some shorter term trend lines, within here. You can see that when the break outside and then, or the close outside and the move higher. And then we really started a new uptrend right there. Same thing, you closed outside, new high, and then you kind of corrected. Um, so it really was a great afternoon if you were still trading yesterday. Uh, if you just caught just about every one of these moves, would have caught a runner off of this. And let me show you this. This is the main thing I want to show you, is the key entry points. They were along this low, along this high, They were on this main trend line working up through here. Just look what, if you got in every time we come back to that main trend line. Um, these minor trend lines, you don't get as many options. You did get quite a few here on this one. When it's real strong like this, every time it comes back to the key entry point, look for an entry. And you can tell when it's become a strong trend because it just keeps going higher. It stays away from the EMA. And look at all these little tiny bars and lots of dojis in there. It doesn't look strong, but it is. And look how the EMA is pointing straight up. And so when you get an opportunity like that, take advantage of it because you can make more money on a runner or two on a day like this than you can a dozen trades, a dozen scalps. So that really changes your math on your numbers. So when we're just stuck in stuff like this, don't try to catch a runner. But once you start to break out and you realize we're going higher, try to get a runner because there's multiple easy trades in here that are easy to see, where you can catch a nice runner and you catch one and you get 10, 12. I mean, literally from this move right here, 20, just call that 2023. We'll round it off to the close. 2047. So that's 24-point move. So, and if you just got part of it, you don't even have to get the whole thing. I mean, that's the thing I always try to explain to people is don't worry about getting all of it. Just get a nice portion of it on a runner and you've done well. And, you know, even if you just rode it to the top here when we started correcting and went through the EMA, you could have gotten, that was 2022, I think. If you'd have just waited till it broke through the EMA, that's still 10, 12 points right there on one runner. So don't, you know, again, when we're stuck in stuff like this, don't worry too much about runners. You're better off probably just to scalp out. But once it starts trending like this, that's when you want to try to get a runner or two. And the other place I like to catch them is on these failed breakouts. A lot of times, it didn't really happen today. A lot of times you'll get these little failures that make a new low and you can get in real close and then that turns out to be the low. And if you catch one of those, you can ride it all the way. So, if you do get a little failed break, we never really had one here. We just kind of went sideways. So, um, we had a couple that broke out to the top, but we traded up into that little range. So you would expect to trade out of there. I mean, the breakout to succeed to the high side because we traded up into that. If we'd have traded down into it, you would expect the breakout to succeed to the downside. It'll fail out the top side. Now that's not 100%, but probably 80 to 90% of the time, that's what's going to happen. And that's what happened in this case. So that's when you would be looking for something to go higher because we traded up into that. So anyway, I just wanted to at least show you my chart and talk about a little bit about it because I know a lot of you are looking for the chart lesson and you probably wondered what happened to me. And I'm fine, just a little nothing serious, but I had to leave on a family emergency, so I didn't get a chance to do the chart. I thought I would be able to come back and do it, and I couldn't get. By the time I got free again, it was just too late, and I didn't feel like coming back. So I apologize, but here's just something to look at. Again, I'm not going to go through all the trades. There were a lot of them, but I'm not going to go through them. So you see the chart, you see what it looks like. You see the key entry points. That's what you need to be looking at. Coming down off of this midline here all morning. Nice shorts. And, this stuff right here, only chance you want to get in is when you get little tiny bars near the low or failed breakouts or little tiny bars near the high. So there's a couple of trades in here that you could have gone both ways. But once this thing started going higher, look at that. And that trend line's easy to find right there off those first two little swings. And look at it. Every time it came back, if you'd have bought, easy day. And these shorter term ones, every time prices came back to them, if you bought, easy day. So That's what you need to be concentrating on, and just being patient on prices to come back to those points. Um, it didn't come back to this main trend line going up very many times, but if you were patient and waited on it, you got several easy trades that you probably could have caught a runner that went on and on and on. So keep that in mind. But I'm going to wrap this one up, and we'll have our regular chart lesson later today as well. And so I'm going to close this one up for now. We'll be back later today to do our regular chart lesson. But this is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.